So as I always say that if you're dealing with the Euclidean geometry, it's all about the theorems that you're going to consider. All right, so this is our question number 1 that we are going to have as the first question on this exercise, then also our question number 2 that we're going to consider in this same exercise so that we see how these questions might be given as and how are we supposed to attempt these typical questions. There we are given on number 1, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H all lie on the circumference of a circle. So these points that we see, they are found on the circumference of a circle, determined with reasons W, X, Y, and Z. So these are the angles W, X, Y, and Z. These are the angles to be calculated. All right, so the question is how? All right, let us consider the first shape that we are given. It is nicely presented so that you can even see this shape from E to H to G to F and back to the point of E. We are going to see that since these 4 points are on the circumference of a circle, that is a cyclic quadrilateral. So we know that opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral are supplementary. They add up to 180 degrees. Opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral, they are supplementary. They add up to 180 degrees. So it means to determine angle X, it was going to be 180 degrees minus 84 degrees. So if we subtract this, what were we going to obtain was going to be 96 degrees. So meaning to say our X was going to be equal to 96 degrees. So there we are simply referring to the opposite angles. I'm just going to write in short, guys, opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral. So that is the idea there. They add up to 180 degrees or are supplementary. That is a supplementary. They add up to 180 degrees. So meaning to say this is 96 degrees, which is the same concept of angle W and angle 79 degrees. They are also opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral. So it means I can use the same concept to calculate angle W. Angle W is going to be 180 degrees minus 79 degrees, which is the one that is opposite to. So since these two angles are supplementary, I'm going to subtract this from 180 degrees, and that is going to give us 101 degrees. So the reason being the same opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral again. All right, let us consider and see if we can calculate angle Y or angle Z. We do not know which one can we calculate at this point. All right, but what we know is that we have calculated these angles. Remember, this is now 101 degrees. And I want you to figure out on your shape, be very, very careful on your simplification on whatever that you're going to have. If we are to consider this quadrilateral that we are given nicely presented again from A to B to C to the point D and back to the point E. All right, so this one, guys, as you can see, it has already affected my simplification here. So it's going to be like this. I'm very sorry for this, but I hope you see this diagram here. You are going to see that also on this diagram that we are having here, these two angles also, we are having a cyclic quadrilateral again, and the angle of 88 degrees is at A. This one, it's at angle A. So meaning to say angle A and angle C, these ones, they are also opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral. These two angles, they are also opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral. So meaning to say, we can determine the angle of Y from that same concept, 180 degrees minus 88 degrees. So if we subtract 180 minus 88, it was going to give us 92 degrees. So meaning to say angle Y is equal to 92 degrees, this angle at Y, from the same concept of an opposite angles again of a cyclic quadrilateral. All right, so the question is, what about angle Z? This one, that is a D. We know that this angle Z and this angle here, they were going to give us 108 if we have one of these angles. If we have one of these angles, we are going to use that concept. But we do not have these angles. We do not have this, we do not have that. So what is the case, or what is the concept that we are going to apply or that we are going to use in order for us to have this angle that we are given as a z. If we were given this angle, we're going to calculate that from what? From 180 degrees. We're going to calculate that. So that was supposed to be the case then. You were supposed to be given this angle, this one. You're supposed to have this one. Because we cannot say this angle and this angle, they have got a relation. The only relationship is that they must give us 180 degrees. All right. So in that case, this angle here, it was a 120 degrees. On the actual diagram, it was just not presented. It was a 120-degree angle that was given there. So this Z here was going to be the difference, just like what we have. So the Z was going to be 180 degrees minus 120, which is 60 degrees. And also the same concept. So I want us to correct that part and answer our question properly. So that is the case that you're going to have on this case. All right, number one. Number two, two circles intersect at W and Z. So these are the points as we are given like this. They intersect, all right? So let's see W and this, and we are given they intersected W and Z. Our W is this one, and this is Z. Okay. U and V lie on the smaller circle. That's our U and V. These 2 points are on the smaller circle. All right. And these ones on the larger circle. Then this is 101. This is 82. Determine with reasons A, B, C, D, E, and F. All right. So let's see what we can start with in this case. All right. So A, we can have angle A. Remember, if you have to check from this U to V to W like this to Z, then back here like this one, we can see that this is a cyclic quadrilateral. 4 points are on the circumference of a circle. And A, this one, is the exterior angle, this one. So we know that the exterior angle of a cyclic quadrilateral is equal to the opposite interior. This is the interior angle, but the opposite interior. So A is equal to the opposite interior. So meaning to say A is equal to 101 degrees. That is exterior angle of a cyclic quad. Exterior angle of a cyclic quad. Equal to the opposite interior. So this is 101 degrees. Okay. Then we can also calculate our B. Remember, this is also a cyclic quadrilateral on this side. All the 4 points are on the circumference of a circle, on the bigger circle. So B and 101 are opposite angles, just like what we are doing in the previous case. So it means B is equal to what? B is equal to 180 degrees minus 101 degrees. These are opposite angles of what? Of a cyclic quadrilateral. And that was going to give us a 79 degrees. So these ones we were taking from opposite angles. So this one was opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral. They are supplementary. They add up to 180 degrees. So that was going to be a 79 degrees. Let's move on to another part. We can have also C. C is the same thing from the bigger circle. This one, a cyclic quadrilateral. We are going to see that the C that we are having this side is the exterior angle, just like A, it was the exterior angle of the smaller circle. C is also the exterior angle, but of what? Of the bigger circle. So it is equal to the opposite interior angle, which is 82. This is the interior angle, but the opposite interior. So if this is 82, it means C is also going to be 82. So angle C was going to be 82 degrees. All right. So this is going to be 82 degrees. So the reason being that one of the exterior angle equal to opposite. Okay. Exterior angle of a cyclic quad equal to the opposite what? Equal to the opposite interior. This is going to be 82. Also, we can have our D from the concept of our opposite angles. Remember, in a cyclic quadrilateral, opposite angles are supplementary. Opposite angles, they add up to 180 degrees. So D and C are opposite. They are supplementary angles of this cyclic quadrilateral. So that means D was going to be equal to what? All right, sorry for that. So this is our D there. So D was going to be equal to 180 degrees minus 82 degrees. So that was going to be our angle D minus 82 degrees. So if you subtract 180 minus 82 degrees, this was going to give us 98 degrees. So the reason there, we are simply again to the opposite angle. So you're just going to repeat this one, opposite angles of a cyclic quad, this one, all right? So that is the case that you're going to have. So meaning to say this is 98 degrees. Then angle E, where is our angle E? This one. Angle E, just like angle A, it was the exterior angle. Also, angle E is the exterior angle of the smaller circle, this one. This is the interior. This is the exterior angle. So meaning to say angle E is equal to the opposite interior, this one, opposite interior. So angle E is just going to be equal to the opposite interior of that other side, which is 98 degrees. So this one is the same as this one, the exterior angle equal to the opposite interior. So you're going to use the same reason as this one. Then for F, if we are to consider F, we can use this concept of opposite angles of a cyclic quad, or you can use angles on a straight line, because A and F, they are found on a straight line. So either way, you're going to obtain your angle F. So if you are to use this angle F, if you are to use this concept of opposite angles of a cyclic quad are supplementary, it was going to be 180 degrees minus 101 degrees. Or you were going to use it from this concept, angle F is equal to B. The exterior angle is equal to opposite. There are so many ways that you could have used there. So you can use exterior angle equal to the opposite interior. You can take this one, opposite angles of a cyclic quad are supplementary. You can take this one, angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. I do not know which reason were you going to use there, depending with the part that you have taken. But that was going to be a 79 degrees. So as you can see, we have filled in everything in that case. All right. So let us see the other part of our question. 2.2 is U, that is from U to Y. Okay, where is it? This one. All right, concept that I'm reading this, also looking on the diagram. So where is this point that, okay, so UY, this one, this is our UY, this one. Is it parallel? They're asking you a question. They are not saying it's parallel. It's a question. Is it parallel to VX? This is our VX, this one. Is it parallel? Okay, if these two lines were parallel, what is it that we're supposed to have? Truly, guys, let's say these two lines were parallel. We were going to see that these two angles, they were going to give us 180 degrees because they are co-interior. They were supposed to add up to 180 degrees. The same thing, these two angles must add up to 180 degrees. This is what we know about parallel lines. These two angles are co-interior angles. They must add up to 180 degrees. So let's add these angles and see if they add up to 180 degrees. If not, therefore they are not, because it's a question. Is it or not? So you have to justify, is it parallel or not? So 2.2, let's say we add angle U and angle V. Angle U plus angle V is going to be 98 degrees plus 101 degrees. So if you add 98 plus 101, this was going to give us 199 degrees, which is not 180 degrees. If they were parallel, these two lines, these angles were supposed to be co-interior angles, but they are not maintaining the part of co-interior angles. So therefore, these two lines, they are not parallel. You can also prove with X and Y. If you add X and Y, it is not going to give you 180. So therefore, these ones, they are not parallel. So U to Y is not parallel, is not parallel to Vx. It is not parallel to Vx since this one, so these ones, they are not parallel. because if you are to check here, because if you add this one, U and V, angle U plus angle V, the one that we used in this case, it is equal to 199 degrees. It's not equal to what? It's not equal to 180. It must be equal to 180 from the concept of what? Co-interior angles. The same thing with this one. So you can also prove with X and Y, if you add, they are not going to give you 180, those two angles, all right? Let's move on to 2.3. Is UV parallel to YX? UV, this one, and YX, this one. So you're going to use also the same concept. This is our UV, that's our line, UV, this one, and this is our line, YX or XY. Is it parallel? Let us consider. Remember, we said if they are parallel, co-interior angles must add up to 180. So we're going to try to add angle V and angle X. All right, let's add angle V and angle X. So if we add angle V plus angle X, what are we going to have? Angle V was 101. That's 101 plus angle X, which is 79. So if you add this, we are going to have 180 degrees. You can also prove with angle U and angle X. So if you add angle U plus angle Y there, sorry, this is Y at this point here. This is Y here. Angle U plus angle Y there. If you add these two angles, you are supposed to also obtain 180 if they are parallel. That is the co-interior angle, the one that we were trying to prove last time. 98 at U, 82 at Y. So 98 plus 82. It is also going to give us 180 degrees. So therefore, these two lines, they are parallel. UV and YX, these two, they are parallel. So in this case, these two lines are parallel. So we are simply saying these ones, yes, they are parallel. Yes, they are parallel. They are parallel since then you now put one of these reasons. So it's either you're going to put this reason or you're going to take the other reason there. So since angle V plus angle X is equal to 180 degrees, that is the part of what? Co-interior angles. Co-interior angles. Co-interior angles. Remember the part of your co-interior angles. So they are co-interior angles. Now remember, co-interior angles are what? Are supplementary. They add up to 180 degrees. So therefore, these two lines, they are parallel. That is how you prove this. Is U, so it's a question again, is U from U here to V to X to Y, the whole of these quadrilateral, is it a cyclic quadrilateral? This quadrilateral, is it a cyclic? What is it that you can use to tell that it is a cyclic quadrilateral? We can use the concept of opposite angles. Remember, we said if it is a cyclic quadrilateral, like what we had on the previous quadrilaterals, this one was a quadrilateral, the smaller one, it was a quadrilateral. And we used opposite angles. Opposite angles are supplementary. Opposite angles are supplementary. They add up to 180. So if we are saying the whole of this bigger triangle that we have is a cyclic quadrilateral, we must have that same concept. The angle at V and the angle at W. At Y, this one, the angle at V and the angle at Y, if we add this angle V and we also add angle Y, they must be supplementary if these two are, I mean, if it is a cyclic quadrilateral. If I add these two angles, 101 plus 82 degrees, what am I going to obtain? 101 plus 82 degrees was going to give us something like 183 degrees, which is not supplementary. They are not. So meaning to say it's not a cyclic quad. Also, you can prove with angle U and angle X. If you add angle U plus angle X, what are we going to have? If we add angle X to angle U was 98 degrees. So if we add this 98 plus the 79 degrees in this case. We are supposed to obtain 180, but this one is giving us 177. That is to show us that it's not a cyclic quad, because if it was a cyclic quad, opposite angles should have added up to 108. If you add like what we had this one, it was a cyclic quad. If you add 101 and 79, you must get 180 because it's a cyclic quad. Opposite angles should add up to 180. So this one is not. So is it? So the question is it? No, it's not. It's not a cyclic quadrilateral. All right. It is not. It is not a cyclic quadrilateral. It is not a cyclic quadrilateral. So the reason is that opposite angles, they are not supplementary. All right. The reason we proved with this, so you're going to take maybe this one or the second one. I don't know which one are you going to take, but from any of these reasons, opposite angles are not supplementary. Opposite angles are not supplementary. They do not add up to 180 degrees. They are not supplementary. So if these opposite angles were adding up to 180, it means it was going to be a cyclic quadrilateral. But because they do not add to 180, they are not supplementary. That means this quadrilateral is not a cyclic quadrilateral. That is to justify your answers. So with this information, you can obtain full marks. So these are the typical questions that you might have in your revisions. Keep on revising as many questions as you can. That is to make sure that you cater up for your exams which are ahead of time.